So my journey so far, I bought a loom, I cleaned it, I bought some replacement parts, I fitted them, I wound a warp and tied it onto the back beam, and now we're ready to thread the heddles. I've had another look at the Craftsy course and hers doesn't seem anywhere near as messy, so I don't really know what's gone on here, but I'm going to just cut through them all basically and maybe just chop off some of that stuff. I'll chop off this side first because that's a bit neater. So that's all of them cut, for better or for worse. So let's try and separate them now. So I'm trying to separate the ones that go above the cross to the ones that go underneath. Oh, we've got taffels. Okay, there we go. So we'll tuck both of them down. And then we can make a start. So I want to do 4, 3, 2, 1. So I've got my hook. So check the first thread. I think this is the first one. Okay. 4. Three. Oops. 2. 've given myself a knife cut earlier, so I can feel that thread already getting caught. So I should have under, over, under, and then this is the 4th over. I'm not quite sure what happens if I find out I've mixed up the threading, but we will cross that bridge when we get to it. Okay, so 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, and then do a okay, so that's those. So I've prepared the next 4, 3, 2, 1 heddles, and I've found that actually staggering the heddles seems to work. So you've got them in groups, so 1, 2, 3, 4, not exactly staggered, but as good as I can do it. I know there's definitely one thread that's sort of floating, so hopefully when I get to that thread it'll be obvious what's going on, but not entirely sure. Sort of a bit weird because there isn't another over. I'm going to do it and we'll just have to see. And okay, I'm not sure what to do now. It's not really clear which order they're going to go in. So I'm going to pause it and have a look from above and see if I can work it out. Okay, so I think I've got it right now. So what I did is I've taken these out and I've actually pulled it right back, gathered it from where it goes underneath the bead sticks and gathered it from there, so hopefully that's right. So we've got what we got. Is that supposed to go under there? Under, over, yeah, I think it is. So under, over, 4, 3, 2, 1. Hopefully this is right, because I don't know what I'm doing. And I guess you just got to think of all this as part of the process of weaving, really. I think when you get used to it, you could put some music on and relax a bit. I can see why some people buy looms though and never actually do it. You have to have a lot of patience. It's probably just as well I didn't know that before I bought it. So I have finished threading all the heddles. I should probably sort of move them so they're a bit more evenly spread. But yeah, basically it seemed to work okay, apart from there was one, and I tied it differently. I tied it in a bow instead of these sort of half hitches or whatever they're called. There was one area where instead of, I think it's under, over, it was under, over. So I thought, oh, not really sure what to do. So I tried to just go with as close to the position it seems to be in, sort of towards the back, and do it that way. So we will see whether that works, but I don't remember there being much information about what to do if you come to it and it's not threaded, you know, it's not in the cross as you expected. So we'll see whether this method works. So what I'm going to do now is I have newly cleaned the reed. So I'm going to put that in place. And what I need to do is mark out about where the centre of the reed is. So it's 44-ish, so about 22. Right, I'm going to put a tiny mark on there because it's got plenty of marks already. So, and hopefully with this pencil I'll be able to rub it out. Okay, oops. Okay, so then what I need to do is measure 4 inches on either side. What do I do with the mark here? 4 inches on either side. And that's where I need to thread. And I have made a note of the threading, so I need to do 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 2, and I'll start in the centre. So I'll probably need to count out these as well. Maybe that'd be easier, count them out first and then put this back in. Oops, should be 24. So if I count 12 this side, so 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, I also did have an extra thread on this side, so I've just left it hanging at the back. 10, 11, 12. Oh, 12. So push those over that side. And should be 12 on this side. 11, 12, perfect. Okay, so what I'm going to do is untie this one first, and this is going to be just to the right of the centre. So I'll put the reed back in. Hopefully I've got the reed on the right way around. Might have to, maybe I look that up first. No, I think that's got to be right, hasn't it? I'm pretty sure that's right. Okay, I was right. So these parts of the beater point backwards. I've changed the angle a bit, so hopefully you'll be able to see a little bit better. Okay, so if I undo this, we've got the centre, which is here. That's through there, right. So, oops, put that together. One. Let's make sure I go through the one next to it. Slightly tricky to see, actually. Oh, now I've taken all three through. Okay, that's not ideal. 1, 2. Where's number 3? This is number 3. Four. Okay. I think I'll do the. I think I'll do the 6, and then I can tie them up. That might be a bit easier then. Okay. So, will it be 6 or will it be 7? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 7. Okay, I'll do 7. I hope this works. 6. Definitely have to adjust where these actually are, because they're not necessarily in the best position to match up. Okay. 5. 6. And then I need to do another one. Through the same hole. Quite know how that's going to work, but 7. So I've done 3, but it didn't record all of them, so we will keep going. Right, so that's that half. I've done half, hurrah! And then I need to do the set from this side. Okay, so I've threaded through all of the different threads, yarns. I don't know really whether the heddles are supposed to be in perfect, you know, because they don't necessarily completely stay where they're supposed to. I don't know if that's the downside of having sort of loose heddles. And I'm a little bit confused about when you put through the threads, the 2 threads through the same dent, how they don't get tangled up really. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to tie them onto this apron rod, and then I'm going to do basically test the sheds and see what they're like. Okay, so I need to separate them into, so wrap them around. Which side of this do I need to go? Let's just see. Probably this side. Wrap it round, split it into two, and do another surgeon's knot. Oops. Bit fiddly, and although this one I think is going to be the hardest one because I think it's one of the shorter ones. Okay, that's one. I also don't know if it makes a difference if the shafts are up or down, so we'll try them up. And I can always, if it's too tight with them down, I can always release some of the tension at the back. Right, try and wrap that round. I know she untied some of them to, you know, change the tension, but I think with this sort of hairy thread it's much more difficult to untie than it is to tie. But yeah, it is possible. Okay, next one. Maybe we'll go somewhere in the middle. So I've got all of the yarns attached. I think the outside ones are quite loose, so I need to redo those. But I have had a look in the, well, the other side of the sheds, and I have identified a problem. You can see these yarns that are sort of tangled together, so I'm going to have to undo those and work out whether it's a problem with the threading or whether it is a problem with where it goes through the dents. Right, so I have tightened the tension on the outside and the tangle that was in the middle of the shed, what I did is I undid that bunch of threads, and the dent that had 2 threads, I took those threads out, checked the order and pulled them through the shed, no, not the shed, through the dent in the same order as the heddles are. That seems to resolve it. It does seem to sort of get stuck together. I think it's because it's quite hairy, so I'm going to just see what happens. I probably need to also add some elastic bands around to keep my beater out of the way, but I'm not sure whether I should. Yeah, I'm just gonna have a go. Right, so I'm gonna have a go at threading in some of this thick thread just to make some, well, I don't know what it's called, but to add a header. So we'll see. You can't see what I'm doing with the handles actually, but basically I'm just doing like a twill. So I'm going to bring it back and forward because I think I need to probably be extra careful with the tension of this thread, and also move the beater carefully so that I make sure it doesn't get stuck basically with this lovely hairy thread. Oops. Don't know how many times you're supposed to put this through, but I'll do 4 because I think that's roughly what I measured. Let's see if I've got enough to do 4. Oops. Swap over. Have I got? Yes, I think I should have enough to do 4. Oh, so that has got somewhat tangled. What's going on there? Okay, it's fine. So yeah, I'll just need to keep an eye. I should know when I'm trying to put stuff through the shed if it's not going to work, but hopefully. Okay, that's looking pretty cool. Just pull this a bit. Yeah, I'm liking that. Hopefully you can see it, but what I'll do is zoom in a little bit so you can see from above. Okay, so I've woven a bit more of a header so that I can see, because apparently I'm supposed to be checking for floats, and there are what look like 3 floats. So here, here and here. So basically you can see that there's 2 threads underneath there. I think there's 2 threads. Is there 2 threads under that one? Yep, 2 threads under that one and 2 threads under this one. So there must be some sort of threading error going on. Okay, so what I've had to do is I've had to undo some of these, pull them out of the header. The first header I actually unwove, and then I undid the ones where it had the floats. Hadn't marked the second one, so I couldn't actually remember where it was. So I think it was one of these. So I ended up undoing, I think, the last 2 or 3, probably the last, yeah, 2 or 3. Finding an error. So with one of them I'd just completely missed a thread, and it was there hanging out of the heddle, but I'd completely missed it. Then one of them I'd done in the wrong order, I think one of these. And then when I redid it again, there was this random thread sticking up. You can see the thread sticking up here where I've redone this one again since doing this bottom part of the header. And that one had, what had that, oh yeah, I'd basically crossed over the threads. So they'd gone through the right heddles, but they'd somehow crossed over. So I'm not going to lie, it was massively frustrating, and I was ready to throw something at the wall. But I persevered, and it's looking pretty good now. So I'll be able to actually try some weaving. Woohoo! So hang in there, people. It's frustrating, but hopefully it's worth it. We will see.